This is Dr. Anastasia Chopelas, the scientific healer, and today I'm going to talk about one of my top strategies for success. So the way I started thinking about this topic this weekend was that I went to an event. It was a 3-day event in which we were to engage with other people so they could book us on their show. There were 150 people in attendance plus 40 major podcasters and, the event hosts and all of that. So it was about 200 people all in all. And we each got a 2-minute chunk of time in front of everybody. And while I was putting together this talk, so if you can imagine, we've got a lifetime of experience and we want to give them that little punchy wow, like right away. And you can imagine that when you're up there, you have this like brain dump, like you become totally stupid when you're up in front of 200 people and you have to say just the right words to get everybody going. And so while I was putting this together, instead of marketing or being on the woo-woo podcast or the mindfulness or meditation or those kinds of podcasts, I wanted to get on business podcasts because nothing helps success better than getting your frequency up. It's kind of like this play. You're successful, your frequency goes up, but also if your frequency goes up, so does your success. So that was what I was trying to sell. And as I was thinking about it, I'm going, wow, I've had 4 completely diverse careers, never mind starting out as student and being a graduate student, which is a career in itself. And some people take forever to get out of it. So they're like lifetime career students. But I also started out in industry. So I started out, I spent 5 years in private industry and I marched up the success ladder really quickly and almost doubled my income in a very short amount of time. And then I spent another 13 years in pure research. And in the first year, I already had my lab on the map internationally, and I had papers already published, and I was talking all over the world on these topics. And then the next thing I did was I came back to the U.S., and the 13 years I spent in Germany, and I came back to the U.S. and became a physics professor. And then I became a very popular professor, teacher, and also learned how to be able to balance the career of being a teacher and also continuing on in research. And finally, I quit that after about 10 years, and now I am an entrepreneur, so I have to run my whole business. And when you start out, you become a solopreneur, so you do everything. You're the secretary, you're the web guy, you're the social media guy, and you have to do all these things, and it's a lot of balls to keep in the air. And all in all, I became very successful very quickly. And at the end of the conference, I said that in my talk. I said it in one sentence. And because I only had a minute and 20, I did it in a minute and 20 seconds. We had 2 minutes, but I wanted some feedback, so I left some time for that. But when I was done with the conference at the end, like after 3 days, somebody said, well, how did you like the conference? I said, I really loved it because I came here with the intention to do this and this, and I far exceeded those intentions. And somebody goes, what? You already knew how many podcasts you were going to get booked on? And I have my own podcast, and I already knew how many people I wanted to get booked from that audience. And the great thing is I got to listen to all those people. So I was furiously writing notes and putting invitations to my podcast and all of we all had these little packets. So I got my packet of cards and I gave away cards into all the packets. So I met and then far exceeded my expectations. And I got to thinking like that person was really surprised that I already had in mind what I wanted to accomplish when I went to this conference. Like, why would I spend basically 4 days, because I had to leave on Wednesday and I came back late Saturday night. So it was 4 days of my time, and I needed it to be worth my while because I wouldn't have been able to do other things. So I already have in mind what I'm going to do. So as simple as it sounds, creating a picture and an intention of what you want to create is superbly important. It's just like putting on your GPS in your car, or looking at a map or deciding what address you want to get to. Why would you get in your car and just drive aimlessly without knowing where you're going? And that's the same exact thing that we need to create for ourselves every time we want to accomplish something. It's just like when I painted these 2 paintings that are behind me, right? I already knew exactly what I was going to paint, and I knew exactly how I wanted it to look. So the one up here above my left shoulder, as everything's backwards here, so it's kind of confusing. The one here above my left shoulder, it's crocuses, right? And I knew that I wanted it to be in different shades of purple. That's not the original color of the inspiration piece I started with. And I also knew I wanted it to be kind of dreamy and fuzzy, like you were looking through a window that had like some smears on it, so it's kind of like diffused, like looking through a diffuser. So I already knew I had an exact picture in my mind of what I was going to create. Now, mind you, I didn't know I could paint until after I was 50, right? So I had no clue that I could paint. So when I sat down to paint every single picture, I already knew and had a very crystal clear vision in my mind of what I wanted to create. And it's the same thing when I'm doing healing on people. I look at the person, they tell me what they need from me, and I have a very crystal clear picture of how I'm going to shift their energy to get them to that healthy state, and also what I'm going to say to them to help them participate in the healing. I'll ask them to sit up straight and take some deep breaths. I'll give them instructions. I send post-healing instructions every time. I give them some audios. I tell them what to eat, not to eat, what things to watch and not to watch, and please avoid alcohol for this length of time. So they have a very clear idea of what they need to do. And when they follow my instructions, every healing becomes magnified by a great amount. So success is actually created by having a very clear vision of where you're going. And that's been my top strategy. When I started out in graduate school, I had a very clear vision of what I was going to do to finish. And what the great thing about doing that is that it goes into your subconscious, and your subconscious starts getting you lined up to do the actions that will help you get there. And it's not like creating a vision board. That's way different. That's the first step. The next step is to ask yourself, who do I have to be and what do I have to do to create the steps that gets me from this point to that point? That's the difference. The vision board is the very first step. The next step is asking, who do I have to be and what do I have to do to get to that place? So when I, as an extreme introvert, and I like my space and I like my quiet and I like to be away from people for periods of time. But when I go to a conference and I have to speak in front of 200 people, I have to have a clear plan of what I'm looking for, because otherwise, in my extreme quietness and extreme introvertedness, I won't be able to do the things I need to do. And likewise, I have strategies for going up to people and talking to them, because that's not the natural state. That's not what I normally want to do. And my natural state is to hang back and let people come to me. But what I do is I go there and I have sentences, like I walk up to people and I say, so how are you doing? Tell me what's going on in your life. Tell me something about you. I don't necessarily ask the typical questions of where you're from and what do you do, but that's okay too. And smile at them. Most people are hoping that someone will come up and talk to them because it's a little daunting to go to a room full of strangers if you don't know anybody and to go in and start talking to people. Most people do hang back. So when you have come with open face, open mind, and talk, then you get the job done. So for me to be the entrepreneur and also a public figure, where I have a 5-year-long radio show, I now have a YouTube channel. So on the YouTube channel, so this is also important for you that are empathic and are energetically sensitive, is to learn the strategies that you need to have in order to be in these large crowds. One of my healer friends doesn't even talk to people on the phone, that she's so sensitive, right? So her practice will always be small because she can't go out in the world and be with other people very comfortably because she's so empathic. So it's really, really important to learn those tools and tips to be able to go out in the world and do those things. So on my YouTube channel, you will find, which you'll see posted right there on my YouTube channel, you will find a series of tips and tricks for empaths to be and go out in the world. So one of them is centering. I put up a YouTube video not that long ago about how to center yourself and how to clean up your energy field and how to be within your body and in yourself, and how to protect yourself, like cutting cords, and even something as simple as an aura spray, right? So the aura spray, one of my empathic friends that was there said she had a really bad stomach ache, and so I just cleaned it out and put the aura spray on her, and it evaporated in under 2 minutes, right? So knowing those strategies of what you need to do to become successful, no matter what it is, knowing those ahead of time and doing the things that you need to do will make it happen. So that's why if you include me being a student, why all 5 of my careers were highly successful. I was able to graduate quickly. I passed my I went through with flying colors. I got honors. Anytime, I always envisioned ahead of time what I needed to do, not only what I wanted, but what I needed to do to get there. Being an entrepreneur is a whole different thing. When you're an employee, the boss comes and tells you what to do. Well, that's actually the wrong strategy. What I did was I decided what I wanted to do, and then I would tell the boss, do you think this would be a good idea if I did this? And because bosses are so busy trying to think of what all of their employees should be doing, when you come with a good strategy, that's the best way to end up doing what you love doing. So I said, I'd really love to do research in this area. Is it all right if we would buy this instrument? And I bring that into the laboratory. And then they said yes. So that kept me occupied, right? So knowing these kinds of things, like how do you create the thing that you want the most, is, coming up with those strategies and ideas. And so I am like a success junkie. I like to help other people get successful. And when they get successful, then I feel successful. And it really turns me on. I am running a class right now, a certification program. People can come in every 4 months. I have openings every 4 months. And I'm running this class right now. And every time they do something successful, it fills me up. It lights me, So I love other people being successful as much more than me being successful. But I realize that my being successful, it wasn't an accident, because I kind of hit on that formula very early in life. I remember in junior high, we had this teacher that had us reading 100 pages of history a week and then giving us a test every week. And I was the only one that managed to get really good grades through the entire semester. And he would announce in the class there was 100% in the class, and everybody would turn around and look at me. But I learned how to be successful at that early of an age by trial and error. And I finally figured out how to memorize memorize all those dates and all those people's names. It was no mean trick, but I learned how to do it. It's actually putting myself in a trance. And I didn't know that at the time, but when I would read, that's where I would be. That's my number one tip and strategy, not only envisioning with crystal clear clarity where you're going, but also who do you need to be and what do you need to do to be able to do it. And if it doesn't suit your personality, figure out a way so it would. And a lot of introverts and empaths say, I can't be around a lot of people. Well, I don't feel good around a lot of people either, but I figured out a way to do it. And I even normally don't have roommates at the hotels. But this time I took a roommate on and we turned out to be very similar in a lot of ways. And we became great friends over the 3 days. So you never know how things are going to work out. But I just looked at her post, I need a roommate. I looked at her and I said, I think she's going to be a good roommate, right? So it works out. You just figure out ways to reach your goal and taking the steps to do it. And it's just like me with podcasting. I was fumbling and bumbling all over my words all the time. And so I was happy that I had time to pre-record it, and then I could edit out all the and ums and the stutters and the places. And I did a lot of interviews. So I just did an and I just noticed. And I did a lot of interviews and I got a lot better at it. And now if you listen to some of my early interviews on my podcast at scientifichealingradio.com, you'll see that the later interviews are a lot better. And now I know how to find people. Every event I go to, I collect a lot of cards and then I friend them on Facebook and then I invite them into an interview and I get to know them better. And that's really fun. And that's a really easy way for me to do it, right? I don't have to be in their face and become friends with them. I can just do it one at a time, like an introvert likes to do. So anyway, you'll learn a lot from, figuring out steps to take to be able to reach your goals and become successful without compromising who you are and how you need to be. So that's all I have for today. So for those of you that are ready to have a conversation with me, you can go to scientifichealer.com/appointment. Or if you'd like to write me a private note besides here, you can also go to scientifichealer.com/contact. And those of you that are ready for your own success, I have listed the 8 factors that I have found important in people's success. And it's not just me. This is 70 to 80 years of research at major universities all across the country and even the world, medical schools who've discovered the people that live the longest with the fewest illnesses, what they are. And let me tell you, number 1 is relationships. And that's why even if you're introverted or empathic, you need to develop a strategy for creating great relationships. Right? So that's number 1. And believe it or not, number 8 is your physical health. What you eat, how you exercise, sleep, and all that. It's foundational, but there are 7 others that are more important. So go to scientifichealer.com/success to read all about it. And in there is an action guide that you could get to help you decide which one of those 8 factors you need to work on first to make it to the next level, to really improve your success. If you like this program, hit the like button below or give me a thumbs up rating. Share it with your friends. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for being here and listening, and I'll see you in the next program.